Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. That's right. It is yours truly, the Drip King, and I'm joined as always by my compadres to the right of me. Yes, the right of me. Boom, I got it. Got Tidy to the right of me, but also to the right of Tidy, I have Albert as well. And then below, we have the old running gang, the crew. We have Nick right below me, and then Andy finally gracing us with his presence to the right and below me. I think this is the most people we've had on the show at one point.
Yeah.
What better time to do it than right now? It's WrestleMania, baby. Tidy, how the heck have you been?
Truly assembled.
And how have you been enjoying wrestling this week?
I've been really good, man. I had some birthdays, like almost like back to back, that I celebrated. I'm here by a miracle because 4 hours of sleep in 2 days is crazy. The amount of booze within me. So I could have missed the show tonight. Not tonight.
This man said he was gonna stop.
Look, man, that was past tense. This is the present. I have excuses.
He was going to stop.
Albert,
And he
how the heck
stopped,
have you been
and now
this
he's continuing.
week? Yeah. Real quick, let's do these real quick. What is up, Sinister? Thank you for joining. Hello, babe. Hello. She says, take care of me this weekend. What that means
we will look after him.
Get me boozed up.
Yeah.
Just joking. Please don't. What up, Inigo? Much. Hey, good to see you back, bud. Appreciate the support there. We got Courtney in the chat. She says hello to everybody. And Harry Flynn, our good buddy Harry Flynn. He thought he was going to take some titles tonight. I'm an evil bastard because I'm not even giving you the opportunity to do it. We're not doing predictions tonight. We're talking about WrestleMania in all its glory. We're going to have a good time. But again, like the last few weeks, throw it in the comments and we'll talk about it. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get down below. I'm going to save the best for last. Not necessarily the best, but it's his first time. So he is the best tonight. Nick, how the heck have you been and how have you been enjoying wrestling this week?
I've been fantastic. 3 days away from our WrestleMania trip. Ridiculously excited. Raw was the best Raw in about 10 years this week. It was absolutely phenomenal. Yes. And I just thought, as this was the final hurrah, that it was only right that I brought a friend with me.
And the friend that you have brought is none other than our good pal, Andy. Came and explained to you how excited I am that he's finally with us. I'm just so happy. If he wasn't going to WrestleMania, this wouldn't happen. So WrestleMania is working magic in all sorts of aspects in the world. Andy, how the hell have you been, sir?
I have been good, my friends. I'm excited, and thanks to the power of WrestleMania, I am off work, which means I am here with you, go fellows.
And I can't explain to you. I can't put into words how I'm excited that Andy is here with us today. I didn't think this was ever going to be a possibility because of the hours and everything, but it's happened. Woo! I'm excited. We got this.
True Sinister, happy birthday today. It's your birthday. That's awesome. Happy birthday. Courtney, happy birthday to your mom yesterday.
Yeah. Bunch of birthdays here. This is crazy that they were all lumped in this. Happy birthday, Sinister, first off. But
My
your mom's
birthday was
the other
Sunday,
day.
just gone.
That's crazy that they were lumped that close.
It's a lot of birthdays.
Mine was the other day. Courtney's mom's was yesterday. A bunch of birthdays in March. March is the goated month. That's what I got to say about that.
Jimmy got the best present with his fiance, didn't he?
And she's my fiance. That's the top present. But then my fiance is the reason I'm going to WrestleMania. So that's a 2-for-1 right there. That's amazing.
Yeah, dude.
I liked it, so I put a ring on it.
We had the pleasure of meeting Amanda last year, and what a legend.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Thank you. I hope she heard that. I hope she's paying attention still. Get that off.
Oh, she is. Oh, wait, Courtney, fill me in. Pretty Deadly's replacing Grayson Waller and Austin Theory.
We'll get to that. And then look at Harry's birthday, cousin's birthday is today.
I didn't know this. Can we please get to this now? What is going on?
We'll get to it.
You have to wait, Alvin.
If this is happening night one, I get to see Pretty Deadly live. I am ecstatic right now, okay?
We'll just start off with the tag team ladder match extravaganza.
Just before we go any further, or before we do start anything, I'd like to apologise on behalf of the UK for the import that is Pretty Deadly. Apologies.
Yeah,
We love
it's
them.
awful.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We love
They're
them.
great, Andy. They're great, Andy.
We love
They're
Pretty Deadly.
fantastic.
I'm sorry, Pretty Deadly are friggin' awesome.
They're not petty deadly.
They're
They're
good
pretty
work.
deadly.
They're good workers. They're funny as hell, and those boys will do anything for that company.
All right. So the match as it stands right now, the Judgment Day, your champions, putting their titles up against Awesome Truth, The New Day, A-Town Down Under, and New Catch Republic. Now, what Courtney is referring to right here, Harry's put it in the thing. Meltzer said Theory and Waller are getting replaced. So this is why I told you not to get excited, because Meltzer said it, which means I don't fucking believe it.
Agreed.
I don't think anyone here does believe it because he said it.
No.
If it happens, hey, I want to know how it's going to happen.
I can tell you
Albert
straight,
looks
mate,
so
if Meltzer
dejected.
turned around and said, me auntie's got balls and she's my uncle, I still wouldn't listen to him.
Yeah. Okay, we got more. We got more. My sister's was the 21st. Man.
Hey, my birthday. was the
Yeah, you know
21st.
how that is. Fireworks.
This should be the Positively Awesome Birthdays channel.
It's true.
Right?
What a way to go out.
I think he's on to something. 4th of July, people just be getting jiggy with it. Hey, thank you for joining, Benny. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Absolutely. This is awesome, man. We got some people up in here tonight. Yeah, that guy. So we'll just go ahead and say if Meltzer is correct here, which he's not, but if, let's just play this game. I want to know who everyone would like to see take Austin Theory and Grayson Waller's spot. And since Andy is the guest of honor here tonight, we're going to go with him first. Who would you like to see replace Austin Theory and Grayson Waller?
I mean, I don't see it being Pretty Deadly, because I feel if they were going to do that, they would have just put them in the match from the start. I see some kind of ECW connection in that match, an original, whether, I think everybody's looking at the Hardys. Don't think it'll be the Hardys. Because I know that Devon and Bubba Ray have been doing a bit recently, so it could potentially be them. Or it might just be something like the Sandman and Dreamer or something like that. But I think the biggest thing is if they are going to do that, it makes sense, because they've got to try and protect whoever it is, because obviously they're not going to be able to work a full match. So, it makes sense to put them in a pack match like that, where they can kind of be protected and like, carried through it, shall we say.
God, please let it be Lance Storm and Just Incredible.
I didn't even think about ECW in this at all, but oh my god, that would be so cool. And if it's the Dudleys, I'll lose my mind. I think that would be the biggest pop of the
they have been wrestling recently as well.
Yes, I saw Devon had been, and Bubba Ray, he's been doing it
They
periodically.
did TNA 1000 together, I believe, right?
Yeah, because Devon had really bad surgery, didn't he? But obviously it fixed whatever the issue was, so he's ready to go now.
Before we go to Albert, because you're saying it's going to be Lance Storm and Just Incredible. Is that what you said?
I want it to be the Impact players. Yes.
Okay, dude, that would be phenomenal. I loved them back in the day. That was awesome. That was one of the reasons I actually tuned in to watch ECW.
I hope it's not just Incredible. I've seen a lot of nasty things about him around not doing.
My buddy has had nothing but horrible experiences with Just Incredible, so I know he's not a good dude. But I'm not gonna. I'll still pop. I will still pop for it. This is another popular one. Before I go to Albert and Tidy, Motor City Machine Guns has been popping up as a possibility. And for all the marks out there, or smarks, I'll say smarks because I don't think mark is a bad word. I'm a mark myself. But all the smarks are like, why would they go to WWE? Alex Shelley appeared in NXT for 2 matches with it's more than money here, because Tony Khan can offer them more money, honestly.
True.
But Alex Shelley spoke on his experiences in NXT and said, it was amazing. It was wonderful. They took care of me. They care. He had a very amazing experience there. So why wouldn't he go back with his buddy? And especially in a time where the tag division has become actually the best it's been in. I couldn't even tell you. It's been the best it's probably been since I've been a full-time viewer of wrestling. Like,
just before we go to the guys, Jim, can I ask a question that all you can answer? Do we think it'll be a 2 falls for the singular titles, or do you reckon it'll just be for the undisputed altogether?
I think they're getting split.
I think so too.
They're going to split the belts. But I think it's going to be one fall where it's a situation where one guy from one team grabs one title, another guy from the other team grabs another title. They both fall off at the same time.
So DIY is already in it, Sinister. So they're in it, so they couldn't replace them. I'm glad they're in it though. I saw some people complain. It's like, shut up, man. DIY is amazing right now. I'm not cold. I'm just repping the wrestling club because I love that stuff, and I can't wait to hopefully run into them again this week, because last year when I ran into them, it was one of the highlights of the weekend. I don't want it to be the Hardys. I don't want it. I'm sorry. I'm over the Hardys at this point. I respect what they've done. I'm over it. Again, Sinister. I'll pop mad time. I'll pop so big for them.
That'd be amazing.
Tidy, I'll go to you next. Who would you like to see replace Austin Theory and Grayson Waller?
Well, because everybody's doing double duty enough at this WrestleMania as it seems, I'm just going to say Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. That's what I'm saying, because Baron Corbin's already hinted it on, our ex-Twitter. And I've been trying to think of a way for that to happen, but nothing has. There's one more SmackDown, man, and I'll just hope something happens from there.
So just say Kurt Hawkins being with TNA doesn't mean anything, because Jordan Grace was with TNA and she still popped up. So that doesn't mean anything. I don't think it will be, but it doesn't mean it is. So now that we got Tidy out the way, Alberts, what about you, sir? Who do you see? I know you're gonna say Pretty Deadly. I don't even know.
Of course, my answer is Pretty Deadly. But if it can't be Pretty Deadly, look, I gotta admit, the Motor City Machine Guns are probably one of the best choices right now. I mean, there's a point where you can see that they're at the end of their career, but they can still go. There'd be an excellent addition to this tag team division right now, because I think that the tag team division is as hot. You said it; it's as hot as it's ever been. So at this point, I think that the Motor City Machine Guns are probably one of the better ones. But if it's up to me, I want to see Pretty Deadly live. So please let it be Pretty Deadly.
Oh no.
Okay, so that's
disappointing.
Let's put a stamper on Nick's right there. So I'll say this: if it can't be Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and we're talking about doing double duty, let's put Roman and Rock in it. How about that? That's
triple.
Put them on the show as much as we can, just so heads can explode. But seriously, no, I'm going for Motor City Machine Guns, because I don't think they'll get the pop when they come out. But by the time that match is over, people will know who they are and they will have earned their respect. This is a perfect match to introduce these guys into. I think it would be great. And as for this right here, Miz and R-Truth will win. I think this is how they get split up, because R-Truth, his character plays into this theory perfectly. He's going to grab one set of titles and be like, we won. And then someone else can grab the other ones. And then there you go. I don't care how silly it sounds. It works because it's R-Truth. And we all love R-Truth. If you don't, there's the door right behind you. Get out.
There's a chance I think that happens. I also think that there's also, because I've been thinking about this, and I think that's kind of like what a lot of people are thinking. A lot of people think, okay, there's going to be like some shenanigans that are going to go on with R-Truth. The titles are somehow going to get separated. There's also the really big chance that after WrestleMania is over, Aldis and Adam Pearce come out and they're just like, hey, by the way, we know that the tag team titles were like the undisputed tag titles. Well, guess what? There's 2 shows. It's the deepest tag division ever. So we're breaking them off. So whatever show the champions get drafted to, they're those champions. And then the other brand gets to have a tournament for those titles. And I think you put somebody like Judgment Day on SmackDown and let them face a bunch of fresher teams for as long as they want to hold the titles. And Raw has probably the better tag division at this point, and you can flip it around in the draft to get a couple other teams there. I think it's absolutely perfect right now for that.
I'm okay with that. Here's a great one that your buddy Harry has brought up. Do Jimmy and Jay on night 1, but then they reunite on night 2 as the Usos take home the undisputed tag titles again, and the bloodline becomes full force.
That would be amazing.
Shall explode.
That'd be awesome.
Nobody's saying the Good Brothers because it shouldn't be the Good Brothers.
No, because it shouldn't. Luke Gallows should be nowhere near a ring. He has been the dead weight around Carl Anderson's legs for far too many years.
On behalf of the Raw Ball Podcast, thank you. Oh, okay. I think it's Maddie here. Thank you for bringing positivity to the game. When everybody, you know, I love to do it, man, and I'm glad I could get other people to partake in it. I want to see more of it. So, thank you for stopping in and saying that, man. Much appreciated. That means a lot to me. And Raw Ball. If y'all not watching Raw Ball, go watch Raw Ball. So there we go. We've gotten over the pretty deadly drama. We can move on now. Albert has got his appetite fixed right there.
There's a chance, guys. There's a chance.
There's a chance.
No, boy. So we'll now move on to the match that it's the newest match added to the show. It is going to be Damage Control taking on Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. So I'll just do a quick scan across the room to see how much time we should spend on this. Excitement levels for this. Indy, once again, you're going first, buddy.
I think it's the right move for the start. You know, I don't think Jade's ready for a match on her own, although I think Kairi Sane actually botches more than what Jade does. So. But all in all, I think it's a really good move. It gets Bianca on the card, it gets the Damage Control girls on there to take the pin from Jade, it gets her on the card but protects her. It's a win-win for me, this one. Okay. But also, did anyone notice that Bianca's changed her gear to kind of match Jade's a little bit?
And Naomi was wearing something similar too. I think they planned that just for the moment. Point to the side. It was a great picture. It's a great moment. Yeah, that's going to be something we could look at for a while. Nick, swing it over to you. With this match, are you excited enough about it to forgive them for not putting the women's tag titles on the show?
Yes.
Okay.
I am, because the women's tag team champions are still going to be on the show. Okay. We know they're not going to get defended, which means there'll be one title belt that doesn't change hands this WrestleMania.
Let me ask you this question as well, Nick. Are you more upset at the fact that the tag team championships are not on the line, or would you be more upset that Naomi returned and didn't get on the card? Because that's what it would have been, one of them two things, wouldn't it?
I'd have been more upset that Naomi didn't come on the card. She's more than earned a spot in that match. And Andy's right about one thing. Jade isn't ready for a singles match. Putting her in a six-way is the perfect way to hide her insecurities and imperfections. I think it's going to be really good. And I also think they're going to use it to gaslight Bianca versus Jade for SummerSlam.
Okay. Tidy, what about you? Because I know you love the women's wrestling. How excited are you about this match?
I'm just happy Dakota is getting a WrestleMania moment.
Okay. That's fair.
She's one of my favorite. I like the way that she sells. I love her wrestling moves. I love the scorpion kick. I love everything about that person. She's amazing. So I'm happy she's getting something because she's been injured. I'm happy that Naomi, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, gets her little promos in, little thing with Bianca, leads up to Jade joining. And it's people complained that she just wasn't getting a spot and got, lost Elimination Chamber. But what do you know? She's right there in the main event status, basically. So I think it's perfect. So there's two big things that I just want to watch. I want to watch Naomi. I want to watch Dakota. So I'm happy, and then I get to see Jade super pump kick somebody again.
All three of them.
Shit out of Asuka. That was awesome.
Albert, I'm gonna ask you a very different kind of question here. What are the chances that we see Jade Cargill do a double? I don't even know. Jaded? Is that what her finish is?
Yeah.
Jaded. What are the chances we get to see her do the Jaded to two people at once?
I think there's a good chance at that because everybody on that opposing team weighs about both of them. Two women at the same point probably weighs about what Jade weighs.
And Kyrie are perfect candidates for this moment.
Absolutely. Look, my big thing is this. I think the big part about this match is there's been a lot of detractors and naysayers on the internet about the WWE and their booking of Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill came into the WWE, had a great debut at the Royal Rumble. Her mom had passed a little bit before that, if I'm not mistaken, so WWE was keeping her off TV at that point. I think WWE has done the absolute smartest thing possible with Jade. I think that they've debuted her in the complete right way. I think they built this match up the complete perfect way, and now Jade Cargill has her first match in WWE at Royal Rumble. Her second match is at WrestleMania. And it sets her up for the rest of the year. I think Harry put, it sets up. Inigo Montoya said it sets up Bianca turning on Jade. I think it's the other way around. I think Jade will end up turning on Bianca, and Jade will be the heel because she's got that natural charisma. But she can definitely, work better as a heel. We saw it in AEW. Yeah. But this is where I get mad at the wrestling, audience because all we've seen from AEW fans is, oh, they had Jade for this long. How come they didn't debut her? This is why.
Moments.
You're right. You make the right moment. You do it at the right time. You book her in the right match. You put her in right in line to have a WrestleMania match. It's exactly what they needed. Just because somebody gets signed doesn't mean they have to debut right away. Triple H has proven that he's good with waiting on people.
Patience, everybody. Patience is key.
How long has she been there for now?
6 months.
So for me, in 6 months, she's had one bit of ring time, and no disrespect, but she feels more important than she did during her whole TBS title run.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, her moment at Royal Rumble was amazing. And again, since I watched it back and I was like, man, what came across on TV is not how it came across live. It just wasn't. You can amplify it by 100. She got the second loudest pop of the entire night when she came in at the Royal Rumble. So they've taken their time with her. Again, patience is key. If you have patience, you're going to be rewarded for it. And we are being rewarded for it. Jade will be rewarded for it. And then I'll do these real quick. Good Brothers was tag champs when the Hardy showed up. Yeah, that was dark times that people don't like to talk about anymore.
Very dark times.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly's not in that ladder match. I forgot. They're in that battle royal. They're done. They're not pulling double duty. No, boy.
They can figure out that match and add it to the other one.
And then
Pair of queens in the Royal Rumble, in the Royal Battle Royale.
Asuka's not getting her first win year, and this is kind of a mind-blowing stat to me because I didn't even realize that she's never won at WrestleMania.
Yeah, she hasn't.
Hey, Sasha Banks never won at WrestleMania either, and I mean Sasha Banks is Sasha Banks. So, another wrestler who debuted at Rumble in their second match with Mania, Tommy Dreamer. Oh man, no, please, no, keep him off. Sorry, I'm not a Tommy Dreamer person. I'm just not. I'll pop for the ECW thing, but other than that, I'm like, I don't want to see him. I'm sorry. I don't even like listening to. I stopped listening to Busted Open Radio because of Tommy Dreamer.
I never liked Tommy when he was younger.
Yeah,
he was overrated at best.
I always liked him.
I was a Raven boy.
Did Sasha win it, Mania? I'm gonna have to look this up. So around the room, real quick, who do we think's winning this? Is there any chance in the world that Jade, Bianca, and Naomi lose here?
Of a small one.
No. Yeah, it's like a snowball's chance.
The only chance there is if there's a miscommunication in the middle of the match, they want Jade to be a heel right off the start, and she clocks Bianca.
I figured, bud. Yeah, and I don't think they would jump right into that feud. I think they have to
probably not, but that's the only chance I see of that happening. Other than that, no.
Okay. I'm looking this thing up because I cannot believe
he's right. Sasha and Naomi won the tag titles at Mania 30.
Yes, they did. That's right.
Why is this page being so stupid?
And then that's the other thing about this match. A lot of people were complaining because we got a six-woman tag last year with the women's tag champions in it because it was Becky, Lita, and Trish against, I believe, against Damage Control.
Damage Control.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm really sad for this year? And last year it caught me by surprise because of how much I enjoyed them. Do you know the two little scramble matches they had in between? The four matches. Them two matches were fantastic. And
they were.
I really enjoyed both of them, both nights, the women and the men, because I feel like both of them just wanted to get themselves on the card and make a statement. And I fully enjoyed both of them.
They were fun.
It was the scramble. It was the men's scramble, or I was watching and I came to the idea right then and there. Chad Gable should be the guy that dethrones Gunther. It was that match that did it.
Yeah,
because he did the rolling suplex to Braun Strowman, and I was like, this guy deserves the whole world, man. Give it to him. And then Chelsea Green, I just remember her flying off the top rope on everybody. Those matches were great. I'm glad you shouted them out because they were amazing. There was no bad matches last year. People will point to those, and I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's
where would you guys rate last year's Mania in the all-time pantheon?
I put it number 2.
Behind 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I'll say this. It might be better than 17. I think 17 just has so much significance behind it.
17 is like the culmination of a 7-year storyline, all tied together. It's just...
I think it's hard to judge.
It's got the greatest opening video package of all time.
Yeah. I think it's hard to judge because it was 2 nights, and I think you have to combine both of those nights to get the impact that 17 made. And some of the other ones, too. There, I think 21 doesn't get talked about enough either. 21 is a great WrestleMania.
21 is the greatest wrestling match of all time. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. The greatest WrestleMania match that's ever existed.
WrestleMania as well. I really enjoyed 14.
14 is an underrated one.
14 was good too. Yeah,
down on it, and I don't know why. I really don't.
A lot of people say it's a one-match card, and I think that's such a BS statement. Yeah, I get it. Austin wins the title, but the tag title match was great. Undertaker versus Kane was great.
I was going to say Chainsaw Charlie and Vic versus the Outlaws was freaking awesome fun.
I'll say this about it, and I addressed it in Wrestling with Your Thoughts, the Man Below Me show over at Wrestling Legion when I rebooked WrestleMania 14. I think what could have literally separated 14 and made it right up there with 17 for me is if Kane would have beat Undertaker. I think that's the only thing that would have completely fixed that show.
Yeah.
Let me just say this: there is no Dom slander allowed in this show. Get out of here with that, Harry. That's why you're not winning no titles tonight, you little. We don't slander Dom here, but you have given me a good leeway.
Segue.
Thank you. Why did I say leeway?
Thank you.
We're going to move on to Dominic and Escobar taking on Ray and Dragon Lee. And Heidi, I know that you're a big fan of Escobar here, so I'm going to let you go first here. Are you happy? Are you so happy about this match that you're willing to overlook the fact that they rushed it?
I don't feel like it's rushed because in my head it was something I've been thinking of for years. Like I wanted Ray to pass the torch basically to Escobar was what I was always thinking. Because when I watch Escobar in NXT, I was like, this guy is the shit. But of course, I know Ray. He wants to do it with his son, have his last going out moment. How are you gonna beat your son with a belt and then revenge this year? I feel like this could be Ray's last match in my head, and just literally take the L. Escobar gets his torch in his own way with his son. I think it's beautiful. Like I've been waiting for this for a long time, and nobody better than Dom to do it with him. And I love them together. Man, God, you got so much machismo in Escobar, and then you put Dom with him. Oh my God, it's a match made in heaven.
I'm not gonna say I told everybody, but I am gonna tell everybody I told y'all. It didn't work out exactly, but the partnership
but
is
you
there.
Still got Dom and Ray.
There's still the partnership, and there's the Santos, Escobar, and Dom partnership, which I said was going to be key to getting us to that spot.
Oh,
I don't think this. Huh?
Remember what Rhea and they were saying? Like, what happened? You didn't even communicate. Oh, I just wanted to make everybody proud. Anything else you got to say? I think I got to go see a doctor.
Lopez says in the next few weeks, shall we?
I'll just say is Triple H going to have a hard time coming up with ideas if he ain't got the show to listen to anymore. That's all I'm going to say.
Jimmy's bringing this podcast back if this actually happens. You know that, right?
I'll have to do a special on it, man. Oh, my goodness. Andy, what is your excitement level for this match? Based on the rushing of it. Yeah, I figured. What is it about it that you're upset about?
That Dragon Lee is coming and ruins what should be Dom's vengeance, should we say?
Do you think this is a way to prolong it till next year, though?
Maybe, but I still don't feel it's the right move.
Because I feel like for Dom and Ray, I feel like they have to have a trilogy here. And I feel like the end of that trilogy is Ray's curtain call. I feel like this is a great way to continue it. I think they should have planted seeds a long time ago. I don't know how possible that is with the injuries and all that, but I'm trying to look at it. I do feel like it was rushed, though, and I don't know how excited I am about it other than I get to see Dom at WrestleMania. But I get what you're saying 100% there.
Yeah.
Nick, do you think Dragon Lee is here just to take the pinfall?
Yes. Well, no, I don't think he's going to take the pinfall. I think Ray's going to take the pinfall.
What?
Yes. Yeah. I think Dom's going to pin Ray. I think Dom's going to pin Ray and Escobar's going to take credit. And that's going to start the fallout with Escobar and Dom. And that's going to force Dom to take Legado del Fantasma from Escobar.
What, but who goes babyface there?
Dom.
We're not doing Escobar.
Dom's not ready for that. You think Dom's ready for that?
In about 6 months.
Oh, okay. Albert, what do you got to say about all this? You add on whatever you want to add on to this.
Look, I think at the end of the day, you got to feel bad for Carlito, right? I mean, he comes back, makes his big grand return, has like 2 matches, and then all of a sudden it's like, by the way, we're going to put Dragon Lee in this spot instead of you. Like looked like it was tailor-made for him. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's not in there. There's a lot of people that are saying Dom's gonna, Dom and Santos will win because of Carlito. I think that it's too obvious at this point.
Yeah.
I think that if it's going to happen, it'll happen a little bit more down the line for Carlito to turn heel. He's a much better heel anyway, and I think it'll
let's not take out the chance that Dragon Lee is the one that does the turning.
I don't think that either. I think that there's been everybody and their mother turns on Rey Mysterio. It's one of those things. It's either Big Show goes babyface or heel, and if somebody needs to turn heel, they turn on Rey Mysterio. I just think it's overdone at this point.
Unless it's Dom. Dom didn't turn on Ray. Ray's a deadbeat dad. He got what was coming.
Yeah.
I never said Dom turned on Ray. You're 100%.
I'm just making sure we're on the same
100%
page.
right on that.
Because
Dom's a hardened criminal. I will not speak ill of Dom Mysterio. He will. I'm scared that he will break into my house and beat the crap out of me. He's a hardened criminal,
and he knows how to break into houses. He learned about.
He does. He does. He's proved that to all of us.
So, I do think the Carlito turn happens here, and I think that's how Andrade gets involved, and he joins LWO with Ray, and that's how we get we could do a 5-on-5 at the next paper.
Well, I think Andrade is going to be key to get for Priest getting kicked out of Judgment Day.
That could be it too. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. You know what the great part is that there are about 7 different ways the story can go, and all of them seem feasible. And I love WWE that is booking this way to make things that okay. There's a sense of there being an obvious about some of these groups breaking up or different people being added or taken away. But the idea of how it's going to happen is very murky, and I love the fact that there's so many different ways that we can go with this.
That's a common reoccurrence in WWE these days, and it's
about time.
It's why we can all sit there and say they're number one right now.
That makes a lot of sense though, because with Andrade and Zelina, they have a past. Zelina had some promos of hey, screw you, Santos, don't make me go back to being the way I was. So if Andrade's on the opposite side of Escobar, I think that's the way to make it happen. Because Zelina is begging to get more mic and TV time.
She needs the mic. She's really good at it.
So
and this is what I was basically saying, Harry, is that this is what I think it could all lead to if Carlito does the turn. Where it happens, I don't know. How long they drag this out, I don't know. But I definitely feel like that's the direction they're heading with it. So with that, we will move on to, let me look here and pick. I want to talk about LA Knight and AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Because I see way too much hate for this feud, and I don't get it. So I want to know everyone else's opinion on it, too. Andy, I'm starting with you. What have you thought about the build here?
I thought they've done a really good job, and I think it fits in well with LA's character.
Thank you.
Which I'm happy with. I was kind of set on the fact he should have been challenging for the US title. And I think people keep saying that he's lost a bit of his shine. Which I don't believe because he's still got the pop that he gets and stuff like that. I've come around to the fact that I feel like this is more of a better feud for him than the US title at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the US title may be in his thingy, but in his future. But I feel like it may be a bit too early for him to go for it just yet. And then also it's kind of, if you've got Cody as the champion, he's obviously going to move to SmackDown if he wins it. If he doesn't win it and Roman wins, then LA Knight already had a shot at him. So it's kind of, okay, well, where'd you go with him? And I think AJ Styles is a perfect opponent for him to show, because let's face it, he's got a good in-ring promo. He's got a really good in-ring promo, but I think his wrestling skills are underrated. And I feel like the match against AJ could showcase that and kind of show the complete package.
Thank you.
I think the problem with LA Knight is he's not a workhorse like every other wrestler in the world seems to be right now. So everyone just assumes that because he's not a workhorse like that, or a work rate guy, he's just a guy who knows how to get the job done. People undervalue what he can do in the ring. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. What
I will say to this, Nick, would you say that LA Knight, the only thing that's prevented him from kind of taking the next step, because I feel like he's still missing that one thing, and that one thing is a signature win.
Yeah.
Do you think AJ Styles is the perfect guy to get him that?
Well, I think the one thing we all need to address is this is a battle of TNA Titans. Right? Yeah. This is Eli Drake versus AJ Styles. This is the best worker in the last 20 years versus the best talker in the last 20 years. As Andy said, LA Knight's work is grossly underrated. If people go back and watch his back catalogue from TNA, he's a great worker. He's a great worker in an old school way of doing things, but you're completely right. He's been missing that one grandstand win. He's been missing that one big feud that people take notice of you for. And AJ is the perfect opponent for this. AJ Styles makes everyone he wrestles look better than they are. Like everybody. AJ is one of the best workers in the world. He is truly phenomenal. He is an amazing worker. And to see him go up against LA Knight for the first time properly it's going to be a treat. I think it's going to be the sleeper match of the show.
I like that you're giving it that much shine. Albert, what about you? Do you think that the build for this match is, I guess, appropriate with where the match lines up on the card? Because I feel like a lot of people forget that these kinds of matches need to be on these kinds of cards. You got to have things that aren't just the big dance. You got to have the middle things that help the card keep going.
I think this is the perfect spot for both of these guys. I think the build's been great. I think people who are complaining about the build are just complaining to complain, because I think a lot of people thought, and this is what wrestling fans, again, this is my problem with them. They get something in their heads, and they think, okay, Logan Paul is going to face LA Knight, and LA Knight's going to win the U.S. title at WrestleMania. That was in everybody's head, and now that it's not happening, everybody's like, "Oh, the build is weak and it's lackluster, and I can't." No. The build has been great.
They did a freaking home invasion.
They did a home invasion.
Exactly. Since Dom and Ray.
And
Triple H.
When did these guys start honestly feuding? Wasn't it like in December?
When AJ came back.
When AJ came back, the day AJ came back, they started.
Yeah.
This has been since AJ's debut.
And I feel like it's progressed at a really good rate. Like it wasn't just bang in your face right out the gate. It was a slow build, and then now we've got to the point where they want to rip each other. Like it's been.
Can I just say as well with so sometimes they just try and make the wrestler fit the story. Where I feel like this story and what they've done is it fits LA Knight. The story's fitting LA Knight rather than LA Knight trying to fit the story.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the problem that they had with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt's feud, is that they were trying to make LA Knight fit that feud. And that's why it kind of came off a little wonky. I hate to say it, but I mean, it did come off across wonky. This is
I actually really liked it.
That's fine. I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. I'm just saying compared to other things LA Knight's done, to me, it was a little wonky. And without it, LA Knight isn't where he's at now, though. So it worked. It did its job.
And I think the other thing is real quick. I think the other thing is that with LA Knight, a lot of people have to understand. We saw, you referenced this earlier. Matt Cardona and Edge had a burner of a match on Collision. It wasn't the same match as everybody else has. And that's the thing. Yes, these really good work rate matches that we see in AEW are great, but a lot of them are similar. It's a lot of this. They follow a lot of the same progression. AJ Styles and LA Knight is not going to follow the same progression as almost any other match on that card. And that's what's going to separate it and make it seem more special, because it's not going to be high spot after high spot after high spot, or a big moment, big kick, and and double down. Like, it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be an out and out, good wrestling match or a fight. And I think that's exactly what you need. You need differentiation on the card. I think this is perfect for that.
Okay, so let's get this. I think AJ, and I don't think AJ should win. I think LA Knight needs that signature win, because I can't think of any big win that he has. This is the moment.
AJ is the perfect guy for him to beat.
Yeah. What up, Noob? Thank you for joining, Jude.
Something in.
Doing great, man. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, sorry to ask. Can I just bring something in very quickly? It's not on the Mania card, but it is relevant. Who do we think's going to induct Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame?
Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's my pick too.
Punk.
Ooh,
I'm sticking with Punk.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with Punk.
Punk's a good one too.
Tidy.
Hey,
I have no idea.
No.
I have no idea.
Here's my own thing.
Just say it.
Heyman just inducts himself, but
that's a possibility. He loves.
It wouldn't be fun though.
Be awesome.
So my thing is this: I wonder if, because they've kept kayfabe so tight with the Roman situation, I wonder if they don't do Punk for that reason. Like, oh no, my tribal chief wouldn't allow me to have CM Punk do it. Like, I feel like Austin's retired.
If they're going to keep the kayfabe, they'll have Roman induct him,
which I'm okay with too.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But I think it needs to be Steve.
I
the
think so.
Relationship goes all the way back to the Dangerous Alliance.
Yep.
The birth of Austin 316. That happened in ECW, not in WWE. Then it's time for WWE booking for Steve, doing everything else. I think Austin's the perfect guy to induct him.
I agree.
Bingo, right there. That's what I think about it too.
Yeah,
it's Austin or the Dudleys to me. Those are the only two options.
Dreamer's another possibility. I don't want to see it, but it is a possibility.
Taz would have been perfect, but no chance with him working for AEW.
I mean, Dreamer was like the guy that was like attached to Heyman's butt for the longest time. Like,
yeah,
he would jump.
But if Tommy inducts him, he'll just cry for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say the Dudleys make a lot more sense.
And Tidy, I'm looking at the card here. That we're going back to LA Knight and AJ Styles here.
Okay.
Of all the matches, do you think this is the one blood feud that we have for this show? Because I feel like we need one for Mania. I feel like that's something we have every Mania. And none of them, Jimmy and Jay should have been what AJ and LA Knight is.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like one thing I was thinking about the Jimmy and Jay feud is I felt like it should have been more like Dom and Ray last year. Where Rhea and Ray turns up at the house and has a meal and all like that. You could have had Rikishi sitting at the table while the two lads were meeting there or whatever, and you could have had a fight. And, so yeah, I was very disappointed in the way they've done them too.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with like the AJ and LA Knight are exactly what Jimmy and Jay should have been. That end.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Tidy, or do you have a different viewpoint? Because I'm always curious to hear Tidy's viewpoint because he watches it from a different.
My viewpoint is it honestly doesn't feel like a blood feud because it doesn't feel serious enough. To be honest with you, in my opinion, it doesn't. I like that. The way that they did build it enough. AJ had beef with him a long time ago. LA Knight got a match versus Roman, etc. LA Knight was on fire. I'm a fan of LA Knight, but I'm not someone who's going to say that I felt like he fell off. I don't think he did. He's just not in better positions. Or I love him when he's talking, man. When he says really good shit, I'm into it. The last couple of weeks, man, I wasn't really that into it. What I'm into is the fact that he's going to fight AJ Styles. Like y'all said, that will take him to the next level because AJ, when he has a match, it's literally magic. I mean, I can't explain another wrestler that does it as good as him. Like, again, I always say AJ and Dakota, the way they sell, it just gets me. I freaking love the way they sell.
There's a reason Taker picked him for his last match.
So that is exactly why he's fighting AJ. Because that will take LA to that next level. He wants that. I need that signature win, but I just love AJ. I love LA when he's talking. But is it presented as a blood feud? Yeah. Okay. Just for me, it doesn't feel serious enough for whatever reason. Yeah.
And for this, Harry, I'll say they didn't care because there was no build to it. It was just kind of like they did it in the middle of something, and now they've got to a point where these two dudes hate each other. And they're looking to rip each other apart. And that's what I mean when I say a blood feud. Like, these guys literally they're fighting on sight.
And it's like Albert said earlier, it's going to be a fight. It's not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a fight.
According to that, right here, I would agree with you, except for it just doesn't feel like it. That's my whole thing. I know they've been feuding for so long, and maybe there should be a little bit more. Maybe if they got Naomi and Jade involved a little bit sooner, and like maybe we could have got there. I just don't think it got to the level that AJ and LA is at right now. I just think those two dudes want to rip each other apart.
Can I go back to the last match we're talking about with Escobar? And the whole thing with that was Dragon Lee was told as the future, and Escobar, his head was like, no, I'm the future of Lucha Libre. And that's how it started. So that's why Dragon Lee's reintroduced. So I have an old background story in my head going on. So it makes perfect sense to me. And I don't feel like it's rushed because I've been waiting to see it.
Okay.
So
that's fair. This is all just my viewpoints, and people have different ones.
There's always time. I mean, like, there's only so much time in a wrestling show.
Yep.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that.
Spotlight things perfectly, but you need 20 matches at WrestleMania. I mean, if it works, it works, and everything on there so far is good enough for me.
I don't think we need 20 matches. I think we could do 16 and I'd be perfully happy. But I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying.
And that's the thing. A lot of people. Look, a lot of people have complained about that. The women only got 2 minutes of wrestling on a 3-hour show on Monday night. It's WrestleMania. season. It is hard to get every single little thing in when you know that your show is now being bookended by The Rock, where you didn't unannounced. The Rock is there, and he's now going to put on, one of the biggest, probably one of the things that we're going to see for the rest of our lives in video packages. That beating of Cody right before WrestleMania is going to be one of the biggest things we'll ever see. And no one expected The Rock to be around to wrestle a match at WrestleMania 40. It's all stuff that Triple H has to juggle. And then not only that, he's got to introduce Jade Cargill during this WrestleMania season, and he's got to build, this other Damage Control match, and he's got to build the LA Knight match, and he's got to build this Rey Mysterio and Dom. Like, there's so much to build and only so much TV time. Some things aren't going to breathe as well. Some things may feel a little rushed, but it's WrestleMania season. If this was any other show, it would be a little bit more in depth. But like Tidy said, we got a small, finite amount of TV time.
And to touch on the Candice, I think Candice is just kind of the victim of bad timing. I think they should have probably held off this character turn for maybe after WrestleMania if she wasn't going to be part of it. That way we wouldn't be running into time constraints here. Yeah. But who is honestly going to tell me, not someone who watches WWE because they hate it, the fans who actually watch WWE because they like it. What WWE fan watched Monday Night Raw and said, man, I really wish they would have just cut some time from the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins promo to make more time for the Candice LeRae match.
I literally said that to somebody on Twitter.
Cody Rhodes thing would have been cut short for that match to have more time. The match did its job. It told the story it needed to tell. It sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's just a victim of timing.
It's still further Candice's story.
And that's the point. The whole idea was that this wasn't supposed to be an 8-minute classic. This was supposed to be, hey, Candice is turning heel. She got a quick win over somebody that been faked an injury because she's turning heel.
And right there's a perfect explanation. He wasn't talking about this, but they believe in blow-off matches. They don't need to give you a 15-minute marathon match every single week to tell their story. Candice is a bully. She was trying to get Indy to turn heel, and it didn't work, and that was the story. They did it in 2 minutes. It was effective. Would I have liked to see her have a longer match? Absolutely. But I saw the rest of the show, and I'm like, I love the show. Why would I? That's a silly thing to complain about. But we will move on to the next one. Andy, what match do you want to talk about, buddy?
Do you know what?
You got to save the Rock for last. You can't talk about him.
Do you know one I want to talk about, and I feel like it's something that is being really overlooked. Bailey and Io.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said this. See, this is what I'm about Andy. Me and him are on the same wavelength with stuff like this all the time. I don't even know where to begin with this one because it's probably the match I'm the most disappointed. Albert is literally just ahead right now. There he is. Tidy, I'm gonna let you take the reins here because I know you love it so much.
Okay,
Io and Bailey.
All right,
go ahead.
Because of what happened with Damage Control, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're not being booked right now. This is going right." And Bailey's fighting Bianca all the time, and everybody's happy with it. I love the Saudi match. I'm sorry, with Bianca in the golf cart. Love that shit. That shit was dope. And then they're like, "Okay, well, we need some momentum," and it took this long, and I can agree to an extent. It took that long to give Bailey that Rumble win and the perfect turn. And the reason why I'm okay with how it's not being half the build, because again, there's only so much time and they got to get other things going. Well, there's got to be a Bobby match with the Street Profits versus, the Final Testament and Cross going on a SmackDown. And I would say that, there's been less segments for Bailey and Io of why you should care. I already cared the moment that Bailey sold that shit of what happened, Io, and she got hit. That was enough. That was pure fucking gold. Her emotions on her face, it really made me believe she was going to cry. And she really got betrayed and got made fun of. So I had to learn Japanese or whatever. That shit was brilliant. So that's why I'm not upset that there hasn't been as many segments. Not everybody can be a Becky Lynch, okay? Becky Lynch turned that shit up with that talk about her daughter. And again, I'm back in the basket. I mean, I love Becky Lynch, but she had that one moment and she nailed it. So I'm not upset. And it was perfect. I'm still excited about it.
So, Noob, I'll say this. I think they put it on it just to give Damage Control the visual of being a completely dominant team that Bailey is going up against. Yeah. And it also makes it that much more impressive when Jade Cargill debuts and beats them at WrestleMania with Naomi and Bianca at her side. I think that's what it's for. They're kind of using them as a prop, and that's unfortunate, but that's what they're doing.
To be fair, they have defended them, though. They defended them against Casey and Caden. They defended them against
and Zoe.
Right, and they defended them on NXT as well. It's not like they've defended them. It's not like they've been completely forgotten. But again, WrestleMania season, there's only so many stories you can tell. Yes, it's unfortunate that the tag titles aren't being defended, but you know what? They're going to be on the show, and they're a central focal point of another really big feud on SmackDown.
Let's be honest, lads. The women's tag team titles mean less than zero.
See, this is where I'm disagreeing with you.
They're trying to build them
for the past year. For the past year, I felt like they were making progress with it. Unfortunately, Chelsea Green, her tag team partner, got injured, and then Chelsea Green got a new tag team partner, and she got injured. And then Chelsea Green was doing everything she could to keep these things relevant, and then they took them off of them, which I'm not mad at. I'm not. Kabuki Warriors are a great women's tag team.
I agree.
I feel like they are the best women's tag team, and they should have. But I feel like they've made the effort. It's just by the time things got rolling, it was WrestleMania season, and other things took precedence. Once again, I want them to mean something so bad, and I've been seeing the attempts. It just seems like there's always something that gets in the way, and that sucks.
Zoe and Shayna, Candice and Indy. There are teams, Chelsea and anybody who wants. Hey, Chelsea can work with anybody.
Casey and Caden is an amazing tag team.
Yes, they're great.
And when Carmella comes back, if she's not with Chelsea, I'm going to be disappointed because that's another perfect tag team.
Well, Carmella's got beef with Sonya Deville when she comes back as well. Zelina, Sonya. I think Zelina smacked both of them before she left, and Carmella. So there's some stuff there.
And guys, just remember, look how long it took to rehab the world tag titles. I mean, they were like 4 or 5 years in a row where the world tag titles weren't defended at WrestleMania. Like they were the tag champions just weren't even on the show. Like at least we've gotten to a point now where the women's tag team titles for the last couple of years, even if they aren't defended, have been featured on the show.
The thing is, Triple H loves tag wrestling. Vince didn't.
Yes.
I just don't think you've got the depth in the women's tag team division at the moment still.
No, neither do
I feel like they
apart from the Kabukis, who else have you got? That's a specialist.
I think there's like 6 teams on Raw. I counted.
He's got one specialist tag team in Caden Carter and Kachana Chance.
And Alba Fire and what's her face too.
There's as many women tag teams right now as there was when Vince had 2 sets of tag titles on TV. So that's kind of like they have the teams, and especially if they utilize NXT a little bit more with them. Because they're supposed to be cross-branded. So, I mean, just utilize NXT just a little bit more with it. Because you have Candice and Indy. You have Ivy and Maxine. You have Isla and Alba. And that's just the kind of the lower end of it. Shayna and Zoe. And there's a bunch of other girls that aren't being utilized that you could get in tag teams to do it. But
use NXT, you're right. Because their women's division is deep and they get just as much airtime.
Yeah. And that's a great way to get those girls reps that need them is to put them in tag team matches. It's a brilliant thing to do. I wish they'd do it more. I will say this about the EO Bailey thing. I feel so terrible for them because week in and week out when they are one of the highest rated things on television in wrestling. And yet they're not being treated like that. I think that kind of sucks. Because the whole argument last year for why Charlotte and Rhea shouldn't have main evented over Sammy and the Usos was that Charlotte and Rhea's story there was no story really. It was just kind of like they wrestled and they lost and now this. But there was no weekly thing that was helping us get invested.
It was the AEW story, Jimmy. That was the AEW story, Charlotte and Rhea. Because if you knew the past, if you just tuned in, if you knew the past, then there's so much.
80s. Exactly. Tidy's taking an AEW shot. I love it.
Well, because I don't know AEW, but I know you guys because I knew what Charlotte and Rhea meant and what it meant to each other.
You don't want to right now, mate.
I know,
but I'll just say
the last 2 Dynamites have been good.
EO and Bailey have basically they've had higher segments than Seth and Drew are getting. So it's it's kind of like, come on, man. I was with y'all last year because it made sense. This year, it's like, come on. I feel like they do deserve a little bit more shine.
I agree. They do. They should have.
What up, Chris? Thank you for joining. Happy one of the changes on the show 2 years ago. The Intercontinental and U.S. champs weren't booked for anything. Yeah, I mean, again, hey, for the longest time, early 2000s, the Intercontinental title and the United States title weren't shit.
They meant nothing.
They weren't shit.
What are the tag titles?
Can I also say that, like, I thought Rhea and Becky done a really good job on Raw this week, because I was a bit miffed about their thing, because it was kind of like they were just put together, and I was like, okay, I don't really feel anything about this match, and that promo that he done on Raw really did get me.
Yeah,
so
I'm
telling you.
Great transition there, because I wanted to talk about this one next. Nick, I'll come to you, and then we'll go to Albert here. After the segment on Raw, or before the segment on Raw, and then after the segment on Raw, what were your excitement levels for this match?
Well, before the segment, I was in an 8.
Okay,
because
so you were pretty high already.
As you know, I'd like to pay attention to little details because I'm a nerd.
No way.
And the one thing that a lot of people missed is they've been building Becky and Rhea for 18 months.
Yeah.
With them walking past each other backstage, little glances, little stare downs, meeting each other on the way down the entrance ramp. They've been building to this subtly for 18 months. And that promo on Monday was finally taking the top off the bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like they took the top off the bottle. The seal has been broken. Now everyone's gone, oh, Christ, we did want this.
Yeah.
It's realistically, it's the best character in the women's division has ever seen in Becky Lynch versus the newest best character the women's division has ever seen in Rhea Ripley. This cannot be a bad match. Unless they gel like oil and water, this will not be a bad match. I'm super excited for it.
Their quick little battle they had in NXT where it was like 2 minutes long, that was enough to tell me they have the chemistry. I'm not worried about what the match is going to look like at all. But I'll be honest, I wasn't as excited about the match as I am now. I think the segment. I noticed everything you were talking about before, but I also like it to be put in my face too. I don't want it to just kind of, again, if I'm being fair here, that's kind of a slap I give to AEW all the time. Is that it's not enough to just kind of do like, oh, we're passing each other in the hall. Give me something more for something that's supposed to be a big deal. Monday kicked in an overdrive. Albert.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes as well is like, you know, where AEW and WWE can do is that passing each other in the hallway stuff can be relevant depending on characters, etc.
Yes, exactly.
But I feel like these two characters are really kind of, you know, very confident, very kind of we're the top, like the
They're
man and
alpha.
mammy and all like
They're
that.
alpha.
And it's kind of like I feel like we needed that in your face from them two characters to be available.
Yes. Albert,
Hello.
I'll bring it to you. How pissed off were you when Becky Lynch punched Dom in the face?
That was uncalled for. That was very much
mad, but the cat's on the screen and I can't. I just love it so much. Ooh, I'm boiling inside right now. Just
look. I'm gonna throw it out this way. I've been excited for Becky versus Rhea because it's the match that we haven't seen, and I've just wanted to see it for me personally. I think that the one thing that they've done, that Triple H has done masterfully, is that since he's taken over, Becky Lynch has seamlessly had a story for as long as she's been on TV, and most of that time didn't need to revolve around a championship to do it. And I think that the smart thing that they've done is we've seen that Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch have been on the same show for a year now, and they've crossed paths, but Becky's always almost been too busy to get around to Rhea. It's like every time Becky's like, all right, here we go. Let's get myself into the women's title picture. Bam, there's Trish or there's Zoe or there's this one or there's that one, and she's finally Nia Jax, and she's now Liv Morgan's being a pain in her ass, and it's like no matter what she does, everywhere she goes, there's always an issue. And now I think finally she's gotten to the point where she's like, okay, I won Elimination Chamber. Now it's time to go. And I love the position that they put Rhea in, saying, I don't need to chase around. I don't need to chase you around. I don't need to beat you up. I don't need to beat you up in a parking lot. I'm better than you. I'll wrestle when I want to wrestle, and these people will eat this all up, and they'll share everything I want on social media, and they'll cheer me even though I'm telling them that they suck, because that's who I am. And I don't care about you. You're old news, Becky. Like, the story in and of itself it makes total sense. And I think that they've done a masterful job in a way of building it subtly and not having to throw it directly in your face. I am with you with the idea that AEW does stuff like that, and it does aggravate me. But the problem is that AEW does it for every single program. When WWE does it, I'm okay to let them have it every once in a while, because most of the time everything is 75 video packages and directly in your face.
Can I just say as well, I know this is a positive show, so let's be positive. About the fact of Becky Lynch, I think WWE have done a masterful job with her over the last 12 months.
For sure.
Because, and you know, Albert, you hit the nail on the head there with the fact that she hasn't been involved in the title scene for a long time. And I think the way that they've managed it and the way that they've done it has been brilliant. But also, I feel like it shows what Becky's got a different depth to her. Because I always say with Charlotte always looks lost when she doesn't have the thingy.
Well,
Yep.
It's the title where I think Becky's, done it's been a really good job of what they've done, and she hasn't felt like she's needed it. But it's WrestleMania, it's the best match available, and realistically, that is the best match available. Them two.
Yeah.
I'll agree to disagree on that one.
Jimmy just wants Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley with anything in the world at WrestleMania.
Hold on a second, because I've given you reasons as to why it makes more sense too, and it's not just the Dom thing. I have given reasons.
No, listen, there's a story there. I'm not denying that.
It's Becky Lynch, and I'm willing to concede because it's Becky Lynch. That'd be crazy to be like, I don't want to see Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. I just think the Liv Morgan one had more to it. There was more meat on the bones for me on that one. But again, I'm not complaining about Becky and Rhea. That's crazy. So, what was I going? Okay, real quick then. Does anybody have Becky beating Rhea other than Harry here?
Becky beating Rhea?
Do you have Becky beating Rhea?
Yeah.
No.
My fandom of Becky makes me want Becky to win. Do I think she's gonna beat her? Yeah, because I'm a fan so much, I'm just gonna disbelief. I'll throw all logic out the window. I want to see Becky do it. But yeah, realistically, Rhea's winning.
No, Rhea's not winning.
There's no chance. So I want
Rhea's
Becky.
Not winning?
No. I honestly think that this is Triple H's first WrestleMania where he's fully in charge. He's going to hit the reset switch, and we're going to see every single title change hands.
What?
That's what Jimmy said. Jimmy said there's a chance a lot of titles, not every
a lot of titles, not all.
I think every single title is going to change hands this Mania.
Okay,
man, that's crazy though.
That's a great transition here, because just real quick, I don't want to spend too much time on this one because we have a few other ones that I feel like deserve more time, and time is becoming an issue. Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Does anybody see Sami Zayn dethroning Gunther?
No. I do.
Yes.
No.
It's going to be a circular moment. Last year, you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn celebrating with the tag titles. This year, they're going to do their Benoit and Guerrero and celebrate in the ring with all the confetti with the mid-card titles.
Andy's saying no.
Leg it.
Yeah, I don't think Sammy's winning either. I think it's better for his character trajectory for him to lose here. And I'll say this, Harry. Becky Lynch you're not going to win Becky Lynch over by giving her a title, because that's not what she's there for. She's there to she's a lot like CM Punk in the sense that she wants to just tell the best stories. So you got to give her the time to do it. A belt's not going to do that for her. So,
and if that title happens to make sense for the story, great. But if it doesn't, she doesn't care.
I don't think that would convince her to stay. But I mean, she's not going. We got Harry saying Sammy wins. Good thing we ain't doing this, because Sammy would get blown out of the water here.
Yeah,
Christmas is canceled if Gunther doesn't retain.
Look, I think
I'm not against that at all.
I think Jimmy and I have the same thought process. I think the ultimate goal right now is Sami Zayn for WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and the right way to do that is to have him lose at WrestleMania this year to Gunther.
Another quick one. We'll just get a quick answer around the block, because again, it's kind of a thrown together one. There's history to it, but Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens. I don't feel like it's as important as the other ones we need to talk about. So around the room, who do we have winning this match real quick?
Kevin Owens.
Logan.
I'll never go against Kevin Owens. Ever.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to go against Kevin Owens. And I'm picking Logan Paul. And I think it's because Randy's probably going to RKO him, and Logan Paul is going to sneak away, because Logan Paul should be champion going into the SummerSlam in Cleveland. And that's where LA Knight should get his moment too. That's what I'm going with at this point.
Yeah, and I also feel like Logan getting a win at WrestleMania will be a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh man, 2 Canadians are winning at WrestleMania: Sami Zayn and KO. That's all I'm saying.
Man, he's gonna be sad at WrestleMania. I hope not.
Do you know what, Sadie? I'm going to get Jimmy to FaceTime you so I can literally feed off the disappointment, so I can watch it in your face.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I want to be part of WrestleMania in some way.
All right, so we'll move on to me. I feel like this is probably one of my top 3 matches of the whole show. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I was excited for it before Monday night. After Monday night,
through the roof, right?
They have my heart.
Goosebumps.
So, Albert, I'll come to you first. I don't think I've come to you first yet. So you get the pleasure here. What do you think of the build that they've had with this match? Seems as how they've had to transition away from their original plan. How would you rate it?
I think this has been the most masterful heel turn in the history of pro wrestling when it comes to Drew McIntyre. I think that Drew McIntyre...
Sorry, can we all refer to him as his proper name, please? DM Hunk. Thank you very much.
You're 100% right. My apologies.
Okay.
I think that Drew has found a way to feud with Seth Rollins and CM Punk at the same time, but make it okay, even though he's yelling at Seth Rollins for feuding with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre at the same time. The man is just contradictory at times when he feels like it, and then at other times he's right on the money with everything. Nothing he says is a lie. He's not distracted by anything. Like, it's just everything that's been done to build this match has been done masterfully. And I've never been more excited for a world title match that seems more secondary than this match right now.
Nick, what would you who would you say has been the MVP of this feud? And yes, I'm including CM Punk in it because he is technically a part of it. Who do you think is the MVP here?
Drew. Like, literally, I've not seen character work like this from Drew McIntyre since his indie days. Like, this is the Drew from the indies brought.
This is better than his Impact run.
Yeah, this is 100% final form Drew.
Okay.
Use that because I've got a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. It's final form Drew. I don't think a lot of people knew he could do this, where he's an out and out heel, but he's telling the truth every single step of the way. So you can't really argue with him.
He's Bret Hart.
Yeah, he's Bret. He's Bret in this feud. I mean, that line on Monday about you don't do drink, you don't do drugs, but you spend all your time in rehab was unbelievable. Just a masterful line. It's so good with him. The whole thing about cameraman, don't be a dirty bastard, don't look at my kilt. Right, little things that he dropped in to remind everybody I've still got a sense of humor, but I'm going to beat the piss out of this guy.
No nonsense.
It's honestly the only title I could see staying on the champion, though.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and be maybe a little controversial with this take. I think Drew is probably the best character in WWE right now. Yeah. I think CM Punk has been the MVP of this feud, though.
Okay.
Because without CM Punk, what is Drew McIntyre's material?
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Andy,
I know. Just because
I know you love Drew. Sorry, Tidy. I want to ask Andy this because I know he loves Drew.
So I love DM Hunk, but yes, unfortunately,
you love DM Hunk. But without CM Punk, DM Hunk, what is he doing? Is he this good?
I think Drew's always got it in him to be this good. It's just, obviously you've always got to have a dance partner.
Yeah, okay.
I thought the bit where he was standing outside Mindy's was just class. Outside the bakery was just absolute class.
Yeah, that was really good.
And also I love that line where he turns out to go for someone who doesn't drink. He spends a lot of time in rehab.
It was a brilliant line.
Yeah. And did anyone see about the fact that they weren't given a script either? Yeah. They were just let to go on it, which I just thought shows what Drew's got. Unfortunately, though, as much as I love DM Hunk, I do see at WrestleMania, I think what's going to happen is Drew beats Seth, Punk hits GTS, Damian Priest cashes in. Job done.
Okay, so
let's save Priest for Puerto Rico.
I'm gonna go to Tidy here. I think so too, Nick. But this is a great scenario.
Just to let you know, there is no Puerto Rico show this year, pal.
They're doing Raw.
They're supposed to do a Puerto Rico show in Raw.
All right.
Yeah. Because Backlash is in France, and there's one more that's international.
Germany.
Bashing Berlin.
Yeah, that's right, Germany. But the Puerto Rico show is just supposed to be an episode of Raw. But Tidy, if this scenario right here happens, are you happy?
Seth wins, Rock comes out, says the title disappear, Priest comes out. That would be pretty funny.
That's a Vince McMahon move, if just so we're clear.
The final boss does what he wants.
But I would rather. I mean, it's whatever, man. I was gonna say that Seth.
He's so upset by this comment.
Whatever, man.
Seth, we're not doing this shit to Drew right now. We're not. Seth is yeah, that's disrespectful. Okay, all his hustle and grind. I've heard the compliments. This is bullshit. He's winning that title, damn it. Now, Seth, I wanted to say Seth has also been masterful because right when you think Drew is just nailing him, he's like, oh, I haven't even paid attention to you. You haven't, why is that? I mean, I love how Seth, like last night, the way he flips it back at Punk or just at anybody when he gets serious, whatever you want to call it. Because I feel like it was almost a one-man show of Drew doing all the work and then being funny and making fun of CM Punk and Seth. And then Seth masterfully said some great shit last week. And I love that about Seth.
Yeah.
It makes me believe enough that, you know what, Seth could win. And you know what, he does carry it like a champ. But I still want Drew to win. Drew's earned it.
Nick, this question's for you. We have because we're gonna move on to the main event stuff now. And you have The Rock. He's the final boss. But then over on AEW, you got Serena Deeb calling herself the final boss.
And Samoa Joe.
And Samoa Joe, you're correct. There's so many final bosses. But Brandon here brings
Miro.
No.
Isn't Meiko Satomura the real final boss?
Is the final boss.
Nepotism doesn't belong in this business. She's got no timing. She's got no skill. She's got no wrestling ability. The woman is overrated. She's been overrated for like the 150 years she's been in the business. She has no business being around this business anymore. The woman is dangerous and hurt 3 of her last opponents. That's why she's not been around.
No, those last
she's like a fine, sweet and sour chicken.
So technically, she is the final boss because when you get in the ring with her, it's game over for you.
Yeah, you got to start back off at level 1.
I refuse to carry on with this subject. You might as well have brought up Matt Taven.
I would be over
you a week on Sunday.
The only thing that Miko's missing is if she had if her finisher was called the sore finger.
Talent, ability.
I love when I can get that in there. It's awesome. It's fantastic. Yeah. But now we're gonna move on to the granddaddy of them all because again, timing and we need to get this one because this is.
Can I announce this one, please?
Absolutely. Have at it, sir.
Okay, so we've got the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and the final boss, The Rock versus.
Hey, don't you dare!
The big clown and the biggest.
Muted and booted. The visionary, the revolutionary. He is Seth freaking Rollins. And then we also have Cody and his Cody Crybabies. There you go.
Yeah,
there you
the biggest heel in pro wrestling. Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes is not the biggest heel in professional wrestling.
He is the biggest heel in pro wrestling.
You are just the biggest rock mark in professional wrestling.
I don't know. I know some big rock marks, man.
He did quote.
No. Not like him, you don't. Not like him, you don't.
Well, tell me, Nick. Then why is Cody not the biggest heel in wrestling?
Because he's currently the biggest.
It doesn't matter what you think.
I walked into that.
You fumbled it, bro. You fumbled it.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Okay, but
you've been waiting to do that for months, haven't you,
Andy? What do you think about the possibility of Rock being in this match to take the pinfall? It doesn't matter what you see. That's how you're supposed to handle it, Andy. And I had to get you it. I wish you would have said something, but you didn't. You ruined the whole moment for me.
I'm glad of that.
You son of a bitch. Okay. How do you see this tag match playing out? Because I feel like that is the biggest story going into WrestleMania at this point. How this tag match plays out.
I think for me, Roman and Rock win it because I feel like we need that final sprinkle of adversity onto Cody. So yeah, I see them winning it, and then it's Bloodline rules going into night 2, which would be quite good. Or potentially we could have Rock take the pin, Roman then gets a cob on because he has to face Cody in a normal match with the Bloodline. Cody beats him. Then as we go on further, we have the we have the fact that Roman holds that grudge against Rock for losing that match, which then cost him the title. Could go that way, or we could go the other way. Rock and Roman win it. Roman loses the match the next night. The final boss gets a cob on because Roman couldn't get the job done, so the High Chief has to go in and face Cody after the fact and try and win the belt back later on in the year.
Okay, that kind of falls in line with how I think it's going to play out. So, Nick, I'll go to you. How do you think this tag match is playing out?
So, as far as the match goes, standard back and forth, heels dominate, babyfaces get the comeback, then Rock pins Cody, because as Andy says, Cody needs to face that final bit of adversity, and if he loses on night one to the Rock, adversity, and that means on night two it's Bloodline rules. On night two, shenanigans will enthrall, the Rock will insert himself as special guest referee halfway through the match, and then the Avengers will assemble. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh hell yeah. And that is how Cody will be crowned, because Austin will take out The Rock. The Avengers will take out the Bloodline and the debuting Tama Tonga. And
they're going to debut him here?
Yes, I think this is going to be the biggest clusterfuck we've ever seen in Dusty. Sure. This is going to be the dustiest finish of dusty finishes, because it needs to be. They did the dusty finish last year. This year needs to be the dustiest finish, because it's the only way for Cody to win that title is to have it as the dustiest finish in the history of dusty finishes. They need to overbook this thing to death.
Yeah. They need to make it like the most talked about thing of all time.
Exactly.
And Albert, how do you see this tag match playing out?
Go to Tidy. Let me go last.
Okay, Tidy, how do you see this playing out?
All right. First thing would be what if The Rock snaps his finger? I'm gonna take your belt away, and Seth just walks out on Cody.
It just
and then Cody gets Thanos. You want that belt gone, and then Seth does what he's kind of been planning on doing. I mean, like we say, everything means something. Roman did say he turned his back on me and betrayed me in the Shield. The thing is, it shouldn't happen at WrestleMania. I don't think it should, but it's always a possibility that Seth just walks out at a certain point. Could be. That's for funsies. I think Nick is right. Cody's going to take that pinfall, and that's how I see it. Cody takes the pin, and then it's just worse. Somehow something happens. I don't want Seth to take the pin twice in one night, man. I mean, 2 nights. I didn't want that.
Okay, so here's could gold does come out. I'm gonna go ahead and shock people. I think there's about a 75% chance that Dustin Rhodes is actually a part of this. Because I think Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes have a good enough relationship, because Cody hasn't thrown them under the bus. He's been very respectful towards them. And I think if Tony Khan was willing to play ball in this scenario, this would be the only one he was. Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if it happens. I'm not expecting
And don't forget as well, when Dustin left WWE, Vince McMahon released him and said, "Go be with your brother."
Dustin did say F The Rock on Twitter too.
Yeah. I saw one thing where someone asked him the possibility of it, and he just gave him the googly eyes. He could just be trolling him. He could be, but this is the one scenario where I'm like, I think Tony Khan will be willing to play ball just out of respect for Cody and Dustin. But with that, Albert, swing it over to you. How do you see this tag match happening?
Allow me to be the contrarian to every single person in this chat room right now. I think Cody and Seth win. And here's what I think happens. I think Cody and Seth end up winning this match. It sets up this tension between Rock and Roman. Now, there's obviously no interference allowed. WrestleMania main event, night 2. There's a big giant ref bump. The Rock comes out, tries to cost Cody Rhodes the championship. He, in typical Matt Cardona fashion, Roman will be holding Cody, and then Rock will go to hit him with the title belt, and then he'll accidentally hit Roman. And now, oh my God, I can't believe it. Cody takes Rock out of the ring. Triple crossroads, new champion. And now Cody wins the match, and the tension is all back on Rock and Roman. And now Cody can win the title almost pretty much without any interference, and he can do it by himself and say, I beat the tribal chief. Nobody helped me. Nobody was in my corner. I didn't need anybody else. I beat the tribal chief at WrestleMania, and I won this championship, and he presents it to his mom the next night on Raw. and everybody's happy. I don't think we need that.
Can I ask you all a question though?
I don't think we need it. I think Cody wins clean in the middle and becomes the guy.
Can I just ask a question though, very quickly? Sure. Right. So with the way that's this being done, I mean, obviously, we all wanted Rock versus Roman. That was what we wanted.
No, we didn't.
But
I wanted it eventually.
Do you feel like the bigger match at the moment is Rock versus Roman, or because of the way that we've had everything, do you think it's Rock versus Cody?
I'll say this. For the diehard fans, the ones who are involved with like Twitter and the whole aspect of professional wrestling, I think Rock and Roman is still the bigger match. I think for the fans who don't partake in that, the casuals, the ones that are showing up and selling out these arenas, Cody and The Rock is a bigger match.
Yeah, and which one wins?
Cody.
Yeah. No, sorry, what I mean is which match wins?
Oh, it's difficult. I think maybe they do Cody Rock at SummerSlam, then save Rock Roman for Saudi.
Oh, yeah, or they do Rock Roman at WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think Roman's going to disappear for a while. But just for the tag match, I'm going to go ahead and go completely away from what I think is going to happen. And I'm just going to be different just for the sake of being different here. I think Seth is going to get pinned. Okay, this is just for this scenario. I don't really think this. But in this scenario, Seth gets pinned. So that opens up the floodgates for night 2 to be the cluster fuck that we all expect it to be. The overbooked nonsense
that we all want.
That I am 100% down for, because those are the funnest damn things. Would I like to see Cody beat Roman clean? Sure. Would I like to see The Rock come out there and stun The Rock? Stone Cold come stun The Rock? Yeah. Do I want to see John Cena show up and start AAing people to help? Yeah. I want to see the most nonsensical finish of all time.
Do you want me to tell you what I want to see more than anything? Sheriff Austin.
On his quad bike.
But in this scenario where Seth takes the pin and causes the next night to be anything goes, and Cody loses, that opens up the opportunity for Cody to deviate and go after Seth and say, because of you, I put my trust in you. And now what you have is 2 characters who can kind of go the Drew route.
Homelander Cody.
Huh?
Homelander Cody.
Yeah, you have that opportunity where Seth can be like, I didn't do anything wrong. And then Cody can be like, you're the reason I lost. Because technically they're both right. And then you have a feud there to where Roman can keep his title, which is a big thing that people think is going to happen. And then you have a storyline that kind of happened organically and I personally think it works.
Yeah, I just can't see Cody not doing it, because I just feel like it's, you can't have him lose 2 years in a row.
Written in the stars, mate.
I'm going to tell you something about
Hold on a second. I'll go to you a second, Ty. Andy, do you think the blow would be lessened if during this match we're given The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, all these names coming out there that gets these fans in such an amazing mood?
I think
and
unless
loses, and then there's like, man, that was crazy.
I think there's 2 ways you could do it. Either one, Cody has to beat him the next night on Raw, or you've got to have The Rock versus Roman very, very quickly. Because let me ask you this, right? Apart from Cody now, who does Roman go after next? What happens with Roman next?
The Rock.
But if that's not going to happen quickly, then what you do?
I would literally do it on SmackDown. I would have Rock say, "You're the head of the table. Then why do I have to watch your back? Why do I have to make things happen for you?" Bloodline turns on Roman. Roman disappears. When he comes back, he's the ultra babyface. I don't know how you get I don't know how you get there. I literally just come up with this theory off the top of my head while y'all were doing yours.
But I feel like we're at a position where they were stupid for what they done with Rock Roman, because Rock Roman never needed a title, and Cody's story was the title.
Yeah.
But I just think like we've got to the end of Roman's reign with the title. The Rock was always the final boss, but where he keeps saying he's the final boss for Roman, not for Cody. But I don't feel like the belt needs to be there for that to happen.
And I'll say this: I don't think Cody has to win at Mania. Do I want him to win? Yes. I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, same
but
here.
there's scenarios that could come into play where I'm okay with it. And again, I brought up the one about MJF coming into play and screwing Cody.
That's the only one
you're telling me you wouldn't be okay with that?
I'd be okay with that, but I feel like the WWE at the moment is the hottest it's ever been. And I feel like if you had Roman off telly for 3 or 4 months with the title, I feel like that would be a big loss for them. A big L.
Question for the group. When was the last time a babyface won in the main event of WrestleMania?
I don't know. Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Or Becky Lynch.
Main event.
She was the main event when she won.
Becky. No, you said Kofi. Kofi was halfway through the show.
But I'll also say this, because I understand what you're saying, but didn't WWE get to these heights while Roman was off TV as champion?
No.
True.
Yes. What?
Yeah, but they got to these heights on the back of Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes.
Okay. I think, to be fair, do you know what? I agree with you, Jim, but I feel like it was when he was in the infancy of his title reign and there were still people lining up for him to knock down. I feel like we've got to the point where it's not there now.
I feel like once Cody lost last year, that's when things started getting into the levels they're at now, because Cody was going to house shows and selling 11, 12, 13,000 tickets to the house shows. And this was last year in like April and May.
Yeah, no, but imagine him going there with the belt. No.
Yeah. I get that. But my point is they don't need Roman on TV with the title to continue their momentum.
No, but I just feel like... I don't know, because I feel like people will turn against Cody as well, because he'll start becoming that meme and the whole, the story's gone and everything else. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like we've gone too far.
It would have been like building up that whole Daniel Bryan program at WrestleMania 30 and not pulling the trigger on him winning the title. It's like,
yeah, okay,
you gotta eventually. Look, Jimmy, I'm with you, but eventually you got to get to a point where your babyface has to win the big match so people believe in him. Because if everybody doesn't think he's going to win the big match, then when he faces Roman next time, everybody's going to be like, "All right, he's going to lose."
And then when he wins, you're just like, "Oh, it fucking happened!" You're so taken back by it.
Jimmy,
I don't know, though. I think with the generation nowadays, people just haven't got that patience anymore.
Tidy, go ahead.
All right, so I was talking to Nick about this earlier before we started, and I was like, I made a list of how many odds are against Cody winning, and it's freaking ridiculous. Now, if this is there's 2 ways of looking at these odds. They're building ridiculous odds that Cody can't win. Either he loses and we understand because he had ridiculous odds, or 2, he overcame the impossible. Oh my God! To me,
he's
that's
John Cena now.
Okay, but the thing is, they keep announcing things, and it's driving me crazy because you didn't win last year, Cody, in 2023. The 2023 and 2024 Rumble winner, could he be the first Rumble winner 2 years in a row and lose 2 years in a row?
Yes, he could.
Why are they doing these odds? The odds are ridiculous against him right now. And you think The Rock is not going to cheat in the tag?
He's going to cheat because he can. He can.
You think that even without the bloodline rules, the rules was bloodline wouldn't get involved. He can have someone else get involved.
Realistically, I'm going to say this: whoever wins night 1 is losing night 2. That's what I honestly believe. That's 1,000%. And do I want? I'm saying I do want Cody to win here. I'm just giving a completely different scenario that I think we need to kind of prepare ourselves for.
Playing devil's advocate.
No, you're right. We need to talk about it because you're right. There's a slim chance that does happen.
And I'll counter your worry about like Cody has to win eventually. What have we talked about multiple times, Albert, where we think WWE just screwed up doing that, and then they give us the next step, and we're like, I was an idiot. I spoke too soon.
So I agree. I do agree. And Cody was the first one. Well, I think that we started this around this time last year. And I think I was the one saying, man, I really wanted Cody to win. And I didn't think that there was a chance he was going to win. And now that they started telling the story, I'm like, oh, I get why Cody didn't win.
Yeah.
But now I think that we've gotten there. I think that we've built to that point. He had to win the Royal Rumble. He had to come back from that injury, and then he had a full year now. He had to win the Rumble again. Like in every odd that Cody's come past at this point, I think that there just isn't a chance that if Roman wins again, I care. Look, honestly, I care less about Cody at this point then, because I'm like, okay, he lost again, so whatever.
That's fair.
I just think you have people that are that hyped to see him win the title at that point again. If he gets there for a third time, people are going to be like, if he wins, it'll be like, okay, fine, he won. All right, it's about time, I guess. Instead of he beat Roman.
Yeah. I also think like last year, I wasn't too bothered that Cody lost. I thought he could come again. And to be honest, I wasn't really that bothered about his story because I felt like he was just thrown in the Rumble and won it, and that was it. And to be honest, I was a bit frustrated because I felt like they were doing the same thing again this year. But I'll admit they've done a really good job with it. I'm really invested in him winning it now. And I feel like if he doesn't win it now, it'll be like, back to, you know what I mean?
Back to square one.
But then let's say 3 weeks down the road, we're still continuing to get these great TV segments and all this other stuff. And then honestly, is it really?
But what TV segments does Cody do? Because at the end of the day, it's just, but you lost, mate. No matter what you say, but you lost.
If Cody loses again, it's 2 years in a row. It's 2 years of build-up. It's 2 failed Rumble wins. It's 2 failed WrestleMania wins. That's it. It doesn't matter what they do. Dude. Fans are fickle.
Yeah,
he got out-factioned, and Seth Rollins, he put the trust in the wrong person, and that's what Roman told him in the segment. I mean, he's just getting out-factioned. So I don't.
What you just said, Nick. I heard the exact same things from so many people last year, and those same people are now like right back on board with Cody, because WWE has done a great job of telling the story and giving us something to get invested in and be like, okay.
Yeah, but I think it gets too far, Jim, where it's like,
I think this is supposed to be the closing chapter. I think this is supposed to be the closing chapter.
Again, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying if it doesn't, I don't want to be one of those fans that reacts, because I did it when they took Cody Roman away from me. I acted like this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But then they gave me something. I'm like, I was wrong.
Can I just say though,
that trap again?
To me, with
y'all for that.
Yeah. To me, with the whole story and the arc of the story and the foresimilency of it all, is if we look back in the early days of Roman when he won the belt and all like that, is when he had to go and deal with Jimmy, deal with Jay, whatever else he was doing family-wise, there was never a title on the line until obviously Jay wrestled him. But, you know, he'd come out of the storylines, he'd deal with the family situation, and he'd go back to the title again. And he'd wrestle whoever it was at the time, LA Knight or whoever he was wrestling at the time. And I feel like, you know, if he's going back into a family issue with The Rock, then he doesn't need the title to do that, because again, he's going back into that family to sort out the family and you know, the that side of things, and the titles here and all there in that scenario. Same as it was in the early days when he was when he was hammering Jay everything, you know what I mean?
I'll just touch on this, and then we can move on from the thing. Fans are fickle. If you constantly screw them, they will leave eventually. But if you are getting great television on a weekly basis, as a fan, are you really getting screwed? No,
you're not. You're right on that. You're 100% right there. But the other thing is that you can get really good weekly television, but you can also have your fan base lose faith in their babyface. And then all of a sudden, instead of Cody getting those loud reactions, now everybody's like, I'm over Cody. It's LA Knight or it's nobody else. I'm over Cody. It's some insert baby face, or it's Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes. Whoever they feel like becoming, that next big guy, they'll move on from Cody. And that's what they risk doing.
So, after Cody Rhodes in the men's division, who would you say are the two most over baby faces?
Sami Zayn.
LA Knight.
I'm saying LA Knight and Jey Uso. I think those could get the biggest reactions out from the fans on a weekly basis. Okay. How often do those guys win?
Jay quite often.
Yeah, Jay
win that often.
Jay wins.
I feel like I see him lose way more than I see him win.
Jay won on Monday.
Oh, he loses. He won on Monday.
Won 1 minute on Monday.
Can I just ask though, with Jey Uso especially, how much has WWE put on the line about him winning?
Exactly.
Because they've put so much into Cody finishing the story.
Right.
That's where it's different for me.
They're giving you the story, and you're making the thing like, oh, he has to win.
I think what Andy's trying to say is
not WWE.
No, but think of it this way, dude. When you're writing a book or you're writing any kind of story, the whole point is you elevate your protagonist. They've done the last year elevating Cody, preparing the fans for this win. That's where the trajectory's been going. If they take that away from everybody now, look how pissed off I was in our vlog when Cody lost last year.
Okay.
Imagine the walkout in
Look
the
how
stadium.
happy you are now, though.
I know, but imagine the walkout in the stadium if Cody loses. That place.
But that's the thing. He's happy now because it's leading to that moment. This all built to this.
And my point is,
doesn't happen,
back to it.
there's no build anymore. That's it. It's over. If this doesn't happen,
do you know what it is to me? This part of the story now is John McClane and Hans Gruber at the window. Nice. That's where we're at. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think
Cody's just got to let go.
Tidy, go ahead.
For me, the build would be literally just watching the bloodline destroy itself with The Rock. And then Cody finally has a chance because, like, that is the story that they've been saying. Seth told him, what's your plan? You can't beat him. There's too many of them. He's cheated on you. He cheated on me. We can't beat him. So if we can't destroy them, I think you're just going to destroy them at one WrestleMania where the John Cena and them appear. Maybe not, man. This is not just a regular faction. This is the odds. These are part of my odds. The odds are this is a family. They have each other's back. Seth with Cody, whatever it is. That could be a story that it leads to. The story is the bloodline has to mess up on themselves, and it's literally going to be The Rock's fault.
I think WWE about moments as well, and I think 40 is the big deal. It's going to be because it's 40. And I feel like, they'll want to end it on that big,
Oh, for sure.
Again, Harry hit the nail on the head.
This is literally Jimmy playing devil's advocate here. That's all this is.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this. What's the greatest trilogy in WrestleMania history?
Rock versus Austin.
We all agree there?
Yeah.
The Rock lost the first 2 times and finished on the third one.
I know, but he was still champion in between, mate. And
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Cody can go win Seth's title.
It does matter.
Nobody cares.
Sorry, dude. Nobody cares about Seth's belt.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Everyone cares about Seth's belt, and that's why that's one of the hottest programs in wrestling right now.
But nobody cares about it.
Everyone cares about Seth and Drew and Punk. They don't care about the title, Jim.
I think that's unfair, man. I think that's so unfair.
I think that it's just that this has been
the consolation prize. Triple H literally said when they made it, we're making this belt because no one can beat Roman.
Okay.
They couldn't have made it any more secondary if they tried. No one cares about that title.
It's the Cup title, isn't
it? Title.
I don't think it's the Cup title because essentially what you could say is the WWE title is the Cup title because that title was put together because
with the Universal.
Randy Orton won the 2 titles and then they combined them to make one. And then Jericho won 2 titles and they combined it to make one. This has happened multiple times and throughout the history. So I don't know. I don't like that whole secondary shit. I think that's unfair. I think it's completely unfair.
I like Seth's title. I like Seth's run. I like that Drew wants to take that title. So it has heavy significance that Drew is trying to take that title. So it's elevated because Drew's going after Seth, in my opinion. So
no. They are on the way to making the World Heavyweight title mean something, but at the moment it doesn't.
No. And for Cody, it doesn't. Because if it meant something to Cody, why didn't Cody challenge for it this whole time?
Exactly.
Oh, it's because of Cody, it doesn't make a difference.
Right, that's the point.
Title.
No, because the Rumble winner decides what title they're going to go after. If the company were booking Seth's title as the main title, they'd have had Cody go after Seth.
Right.
Cody picked Roman's title because he has unfinished business with Roman. He don't have no business with Seth because he already done washed his ass.
Yeah, but Seth's title is there. I wrestle on that title.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? I don't remember. I can't believe this.
I like Seth's title.
Yeah, this disrespectful. All right, I'm done. I'm done with this. We're moving on. This is the guest of the week time. I'm gonna swing it over to Andy because he said he wanted to bring up something that was gonna be against the positivity. And since now I'm in a mode of negativity, let's bring it on, baby. I'm ready to.
Okay, so we've already discussed it a little bit, but fuck Dragon Lee. And fuck all of that that's happened there. It is an absolute hodgepodge of why do we even have to go there? Do you know what I mean? Rey Mysterio, when John come out last week, it was John was there to get his, his comeuppance on his dad, get his revenge. Why do we have to ruin it by throwing stupid Dragon Lee in there and Santos? 2 of the most overrated shitheads in the wrestling. They
want Dragon Lee to be the next Rey Mysterio, and Santos Escobar is a fantastic worker.
No, he's not shit. I watched him live at bloody Money in the Bank. He was shite.
Well, when he was fighting as a babyface back then, yeah, he fought a different way. But as a heel, he fights completely different.
Yeah, Santos is a babyface and Santos is a heel. That's like completely unfair to compare the two.
Well, either way, I just look at Santos and think, do you want me to tell you the problem I have with Santos Escobar? I don't care. And for me in wrestling, that's terrible. That's worse than hating someone.
I hope you go.
I mean, I do agree that that's the case. If you don't care,
indifference is poison.
Yeah, and that's the same with Dragon Lee. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Where, like, for me, the Ray versus... I mean, apparently the original plans were for a hair versus mask match, which would have just been brilliant. And give Tom the Ray mask. You know, he doesn't have to wear it all the time. He can just wear it on the way out to the ring and take it off.
Jericho and carry it around his neck.
A necklace is almost like
Jericho.
Yeah.
Well, Jericho did in WCW with Juventud Guerrero.
Yeah, which would be awesome. But I just feel like WWE, I don't know. And the thing is like, I get, like, say, we look back at the Bianca match, Bianca and Jade and that versus Damage Control. I get why they've done that. But I feel like by throwing Escobar and the other Mexican dude in there, I feel like you've just absolutely ruined it. Absolutely ruined it.
See, I actually think the opposite. I think that it would have been a lot more fun if they did like a big 5-on-5 gang war match.
I wanted the 4-on-4. I thought that's what they were doing.
So I thought.
Yeah, but I think they're going to do the
8-man's tag street fight. Let them just go nuts and fly all over the place and have fun. Imagine a 12 minutes of that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think the reason they haven't gone down that route is because we're going to get Bobby Lashley versus that other waste of oxygen, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to get Lashley's boys.
I was going to say this. We don't talk bad about
the waste of oxygen and AOP.
Karrion Kross is an amazing human being, and we're not talking negatively about Karrion.
Karrion Kross is the winner on the arse of WWE.
No,
he's a really nice guy though.
He's the nicest wrestler I've ever met.
Yeah, and you know what? He might be such a really nice guy, and I'm not talking about him personally. I'm just saying he's another one. Is like, I don't care. I look at him and I think,
I understand that too. I get that.
Okay,
do you know what I mean? He's been so mishandled, and even with Ellery being there, he could have been so much better. But just on a positive, because I don't want to end it on a negative with your show. Is the other day I've been sitting there and I was thinking about Paul Heyman going in the Hall of Fame and whatnot, and how much he's brought to the bloodline, how much he brought to Punk when he was with him, how much he brought to Roman, and then our winning bloody Karrion Kross. I was thinking of him as well, and how much potential there is with Ellery, because Ellery's a really good manager and whatnot. Yeah, and do you feel like managers don't get used well in modern day wrestling?
They don't. I think Ellering actually kind of harms the Final Testament, because what does he do? He just comes out and stands there. He doesn't do anything.
They don't have him cut promos like he did for AOP and NXT.
I don't want to say this to be disrespectful to him, but he's like a waste of space being part of that stable.
Yeah. Okay, now let me ask you a second question on it. Yeah. If there was anybody on the roster, now don't think of a Pacific manager, just think of your Bobby Heenans, your Paul Heymans, everyone else. Who do you think on the main roster would benefit from having a manager at this specific moment? Who could elevate them?
Who?
Damage Control.
Shayna Baszler.
I'd love to have just somebody have control. I think Dakota's doing a great job right now, but I would love for somebody to cut really good promos for Damage Control.
Do you want me to say who'd be great with, just while Jimmy and Tati are thinking, but you know who I think would be a great manager for Damage Control? Sonny Ono.
He's fantastic.
I like Sonny Ono. Still. Honestly, I think Braun Breaker.
Well, that's a good one.
I don't think it's necessary that he needs it, but I think to start him off, I think would be the ideal thing to do, and it would help.
Bronson Reed's a good one too. Not that Bronson Reed can't cut a promo, but I would love to have somebody almost like somebody taking control of him, like a Bam Bam Bigelow, angling.
Like a Kim Shi.
Well, my other thing is this: why have we not? And this just may be Jimmy knows this.
Off my TV, bro.
I love the show Entourage. Why has there not been a manager who's come in and just been an agent? Still Hathaway kind of did it like that in with the Diamond Mine and NXT a little bit. But
we had Robert Stone
like that.
So I'm so glad you just brought Robert Stone, because after the show's over, I have a great idea that I want to throw at y'all. Just I'm not gonna do it on here because it's gonna take I want to end the show here real quick, but I do have a great idea that revolves around basically what you two just said, and it's going to blow y'all's mind. But I am going to cut it short. I do want to end with this. Rock being Austin, third match basically meant nothing, and it meant nothing because Rock left. That has nothing to do with WWE or the booking or anything. Rock left, and it killed everything that meant. So blame Rock for that one, not the booking. And yes, Dragon Lee is the 71st time they've tried to remake the new Rey Mysterio. The new Rey Mysterio will be Rey Mysterio Jr. when Dom takes that mask from him and retires him for good.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio the third.
With that, we're going to end the show. So before we go,
Junior.
Nick, what would you like to tell the people where they can find you and what they need to know?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you find me entertaining, if you find my friends to my right here entertaining, you can find us both on the Wrestling Legion YouTube channels. We do weekly podcasts. We do fantasy booking. We now do watch-alongs. It's a new show that I'm doing every 2 weeks with the boys from Raw Ball Podcast and Andy called Take Over the Table. We rewatch NXT TakeOver matches, the best and worst from specific takeovers. Just do it with the fans and see what everybody thinks. Come over to the Wrestling Legion and subscribe, please. Become a Legionnaire.
Co-signing that one. It's a fantastic show. It's one of the few podcasts I actually tune in to watch live all the time when I can. Andy, let them know what they need to know.
Same thing as what Nick said. I think what our Mucker Simon makes it says it best is we make it make sense. We just try and pick it apart every week and we talk wrestling and we try and thingy, and we won't sit there like fanboys and go, oh, this was great or that's great or whatever. We'll say it as it is and that thingy. Sometimes Nick will even tell you that I'll disagree with him, even though I agree with what he's saying. I'll still give him a different perspective on it because that's just to try and give a different point of view on things. So that's what we try and do. Yeah.
Good deal. And like I said, I co-sign for them guys 100%. I enjoy. And it's on a great time of the day, too. It works perfectly for me. So Wrestling Legion, go over there and check them out, especially if you're going to be needing a new podcast to watch after tonight. Tidy, let them know what they need to know, buddy boy.
Oh, man. Like, when we started doing this, it was just like my roommate stopped watching wrestling like a couple months before. And I don't have any like real life friends that watch wrestling. They watch all kinds of other shit, but they just won't watch wrestling. So I had no one to talk about wrestling. That's why I was on Twitter, saw you on there, threw you some questions because I liked your insights and what you said. So I was, like coming on here and just being able to talk wrestling. It's become my outlet that I lost when I haven't been able to talk to my roommate about it because I love wrestling so much. And then I want to know what other people were thinking besides Twitter. Like how do they view this, or why is The Rock back? Is this actually helpful? Or, can Cody lose 2 years in a row? And I want to hear that. I love just talking wrestling. So I want to thank you, Jimmy. And then Albert for coming in, a couple months ago doing this. It's been like one of my greatest joys. I just don't get to talk wrestling with anybody, man. So I'm going to miss it a lot, to be honest.
You can still talk about
you're more than welcome on our poddy.
You're always welcome on our show, Tidy.
I have a face to talk to,
I got you.
Jimmy directs it, and he has like his points, and I just love hearing his shit.
We're gonna work something out, man. It'll be all right. We're gonna work something out, even if it's like a once a month after a pay-per-view type thing. We'll work something out.
I'll be down.
Yeah. And Albert, last but certainly not least, let them know what they need to know.
This week on the Slam Session, if you like wrestling figures, you need to watch this one. I put my ass into this one. My whole ass went into this one. There was a new shelf that I built. I built new shelves for this unit, and I filled this whole thing out. There's time-lapse videos. There's a whole bunch of things in one video. So if you guys ever check out anything I ever do, let it be that, because I put a lot of effort into it. But I wanted to echo what Tidy just said. I was on another show for like 3 years in a row every Monday night, and myself and Dave Lee of the Dave Knows Wrestling show. If you guys are looking to watch something, go watch Dave Knows Wrestling. Dave's the man. But Dave and I just couldn't do the long distance thing anymore. And then Jimmy hit me up and he was like, hey, do you want to come and like join me and Tidy on the show? And I was like, yeah, you know what? You guys are both super cool. Let's give it a shot. And it's honestly been one of the more fun things to look forward to. I like talking wrestling with all of you guys. I've got to know Nick through here, and Nick's been awesome. Andy, it's been great meeting you, for this week. But all of our other guests that we've had, it's been so much fun getting to talk wrestling with new people, the amazing people in the chat. I mean, this has just been one of the great joys of my life doing this. And Jimmy, whenever you ever want to get the band back together, I'm always in.
And I'd quickly like to say, one, Jim, thanks for having me on all these times. It's been loads of fun.
Sir.
And two, do not forget, sir, you are my defending champion.
I'm not
forgetting. People will see you every 2 months over on the Wrestlemania YouTube channel defending your fancy booking title, possibly against Albert.
Yeah. So that might happen, everybody. That might happen. I haven't forgot. I'm not gonna pull Roman Reigns and go vacation on an island irrelevancy somewhere.
I've given you 3 months off already.
I'll defend my title. I'll do it. I got the Hulk Hogan in WCW schedule. I don't have the Roman Reigns right now schedule.
Yeah, and also just one last thing as well is if you guys I know you love positivity, but if you want a bit of negativity that'll make you laugh, I'm going to be starting up my own TikTok channel where I'm just going to be absolutely ripping to death some of the Twitter knobs and some of the comments that they put on there. It's just I'm just going to literally just do daily videos of just some of the nonsense that people comment on Twitter.
You got to follow me.
I haven't even seen it, but I'm co-signed because, again, I love Andy. I've worked with Andy longer than any of the people here.
It's going to be great.
He's been amazing the entire time I've worked with him, so I co-sign what he says. Hey, get up with Nick here, and he'll be glad to make it happen. I'll just say that.
My details are on the screen. I will set you up a title match.
Yeah, make it happen. I will say to anybody who's watched, whether you've watched one episode, whether you've watched all of them, Courtney, thank you very much for that. The guest that popped in, if you don't even like the show and you just like to hate watch it like you do wrestling, that's fine. I appreciate all the support we've gotten here. I appreciate Tidy for bringing the idea to do the podcast with him in the first place. This has been, I've said it multiple times, this is like therapy for me because I don't have people to really geek out with wrestling in real life. So I've met a lot of wonderful people on Twitter, all these guys included, multiple other people out there too. Thank them as well. Thank you guys. It's been wonderful. There's just certain things happening, and I got to get my priorities in order before I see what's next for what's going on. And that's essentially why we're calling it quits tonight. I felt like Wrestlemania was the perfect time to kind of curtain call it for the time being. But again, I like talking wrestling too much with these guys, so it's not out of the realm possibility that we do a monthly pay-per-view thing after the show just to catch up and talk about wrestling. But again, I can't thank everybody enough for taking the time out of your life to support us or, share our stuff, like it, all that stuff. Whatever you did, whether you just came in for 5 minutes, I don't care. You came, you supported, much love. So thank you to everybody. Wrestling Legion is a show that you can go watch to get your wrestling fix if you're missing the podcast. Slam Sessions, if you're into the tour, go check it out. That last video, he's not even bragging on himself. It legit was a great video, and you can tell he put a lot of time and effort into it. So you should definitely go check it out. He is our Matt Cardona here at the Matt Podcast. And we all love Matt Cardona. Who doesn't love Matt Cardona? You're crazy. So go check that out as well. I'll sign off by saying the one thing we all need to be doing, and I remind you about all the time. Just enjoy wrestling, everybody. That's why we're here. We're fans. We love it. Enjoy it. So, yes, it is on YouTube, Wrestle Legion. Again,
yes, it is. Wrestling Legion.
If you just hit him up, or if you need to, hit me up, and I'll send you the links and everything, man. I'll hook you up because, again, I co-sign for these guys 1,000%. But yes, thank you all. Much appreciated. I can't wait to see you guys in Philadelphia this week. Enjoy WrestleMania, everybody. It's going to be a blast. And hit me up on Twitter. I'll still talk wrestling with everybody. So thank you all. Goodbye. And as our girl Tiffany Stratton says, toodles.